Welcome everyone. Today we'll understand what is business analytics, the need of and the importance in today's emerging scenario. So let us proceed with the video. The agenda is simple. What is business analytics? We would love to understand it. How does it benefits it? Where did it evolve from? And let us understand what are the periphery scopes, influences of business analytics is all about it. Probably then we'll understand what is data, decision models, problem solving and decision making, and definitely to understand everything to do with analytics or business analytics. So yes, let us proceed. What is business analytics? Remember, it is the use of data. Any reasoning, any decision that you take, even in your daily life, you need to have informations, right? So information which makes sense. Similarly, something called data is nothing but information. Data is a random information that doesn't make sense. You have to sync it, synchronize it. You have to sequence it and probably try to find a pattern out of it so that it makes a sense, and that this finding of pattern is known as analytics is all about it. So if we are using data, we are using it, information technology. Best possible cases would be the statistical analysis as the method goes around it, the quantitative methods and the mathematical, probably computer based models. We would love to understand in this video what can be done, and why do we do this. Analytics is all about it to arrive to a decision, to enable a manager to take appropriate decision, give an improved insight what the business operation is all about it, make better fact-based decision as the case might be. So what is analytics? Importance thereof. There's a strong relationship of business analytics with profitability, with revenue, with shareholders return. You look at it, the robust the business analytics is all about it, the more probability the decision that you take on your business front will be always proving correct. That means sheer profit, sheer revenue, sheer shareholders return on faith of the shareholders in your business remains very strong and vibrant. Remember, business analytics enhances the understanding of data. Business analytics is vital for business to remain competitive. Business analytics enables creations of informative report. Now these are things that we need to understand every now and then about analytics is all about it. It is all about data that we talk about. It is all about business being remaining competitive, vibrant and probably lucrative for its shareholders and stakeholders thereby. This is analytics. This is making sense of the data that comes around here. Evolution of business analytics, operation research, management science, business intelligence, decision support system, DSS, and personal computer software. The software that you utilize to arrive to a decision. That is what evolution of business analytics is all about. It. I again repeat, it is an amalgamation of different bodies of studies, be it operation research, be it management science, be it business intelligence, be it decision support system, and personal computers or software, if may say so. The scope. Let me give it to you the scope. The analytics can be broadly divided into three parts: descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive. Most important would be predictive, right? But I would say descriptive is what you make of data. What you have, the data will be information which is in store of the past, what is happening as of today, data which is recording as it been happened. This is descriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics is somewhere down the corner. You would be looking at optimizing, coming to a decision and probably given a number of scenarios, what if scenarios would be present out there. The last one will be predictive analysis, is what I would love to say. Analyze the past performance, analyze everything, analyze what is happening in an environment, analyze what the business is doing, good, bad, ugly. Based upon it, you will start coming to arriving to a decision which becomes prescriptive. So predictive analytics, I still contain is the crux of business analytics, because predictive analysis will actually give you whether your mechanism of understanding the data is on the right way or not. So yes, scope of business analytics is all of three things: descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. Let me give it to you via an example or two, probably. Now, retail markdown decision. Why should you mark down a particular product from its retail prices, from his prices to that the consumer is supposed to buy. First, first and foremost, the product might be nearing its expiry date, because once the dates are expired, it becomes useless, it becomes more of a burden, the inventory is lost, the capital is lost. So it makes sense for you to make a markdown. The question is when to reduce the price, and by how much the price should be reduced so that consumer lap it up very quickly. Descriptive analysis examine the historical data for similar product, let's say the prices, the units sold, advertising. Whereas predictive analytics predicts sales based on prices. Prescriptive analytics finds the best set of price and advertising to maximize sales revenue. And this is what we are looking for, it maximizing the sales revenue so that your inventory doesn't get lost, the capital doesn't get blocked, and you are able to make some kind of profit even through the expiry might be very near, even through the demand might go sluggish. So you need to understand this is the very reason of business analytics all about it. Analytics in practice. Let me give you another example. Let's say Harrah's Entertainment. It's an hospitality industry that we are talking about it. So as a hospitality industry, Harrah's would have a number of casinos, a number of hotel at its disposal in their portfolio. Now, how do you utilize analytics for such kind of businesses? First and foremost is the demand for rooms needs to be forecasted. The demand for rooms needs to be forecasted, and based upon the demand, can you put in a price? The price can vary. The segment customer by gaming activities. If you're looking at casinos, which games the customers are falling in love with, which games the customer are falling head over heels, which games is most profitable for the house. Now here's the model of prescriptive analytics, which tell what room rent to be set based on the demand. How many rooms to be allocated at what rate based on the demand and the customer giving thing. Offer perks and rewards to the customers. Probably you may put a little bit steep on a room rate, but give certain casino access completely free or at a reduced rate, something like that. Or you give a joining bonus, or let's say a upfront bonus for the guest to walk into the casino and engage into certain games. Data for business analytics collects the facts and figures. Data is all to be collected as it happens when it happens. Database collection of computer files containing data. Information comes from analyzing data. This is most important. These are the information from data to databases, from databases to information. You are churning information, making information useful for your utility. Example of data in business: annual reports, accounting audits, financial profitability analysis, economic trends, marketing research, operation management performances, and last but not the least would be human resource measurements as on when on basis. Now, what are we looking into it? Metrics are nothing that quantify performances. Remember, the word is quantify. I have to put a number to it, whatever it is, whatever your room rent, number of rooms, number of suites. You need to give some numbers to it. Measures are the numerical values of the metric. How does it relate to one another? This is what measures would be going around it. So if you have different kinds of room for Harrah's Entertainment, let's say single room, double room, air conditioned room, non-air conditioned room, suite room, presidential suite, duplex room, whatever you're looking at, cottages, if you're looking at, so number of everything that can be done and the measures thereby. Discrete metrics involve counting on time and not on time, number of or proportion of time deliveries as the case might be, which is getting occupied, which is not getting occupied. If you think cottages are not moving out as far as Harrah's properties are concerned, probably can you give them a discount? Probably looking for a bigger group to get them involved into a cottages as then when on basis. Continuous metrics have been measured on time, on continuum basis. Let's say delivery time, package weight, purchase price, and so on and so forth. So basically, there are four types of data on a measurement scale. One is the nominal data, or anything. It can be a business for Harrah's property, the hotel rooms that we are looking at, number of rooms. But had it been a production of steel, probably the tons per day (TPDs) would be donning the hat. So this is the categorical data we are talking about. Ordinal data is actual data in number, interval data in between. So if you are going to, let's say, produce steel, and you produce approximately 10 TPDs or 10 tons per day. But after the end of half of the shift, you have only produced 4 ton per day. After 12 hours of a day, you have only produced 4 tons per day. Can you produce the 10 ton per day? You need to understand. Can you achieve the target? If yes, how? If no, why? Probably, if yes, probably things would be fast, hastened forward, or if not, probably there might be certain cocoa one which has gone breakdown, which is under maintenance. So you need to understand the interval data and the ratio data thereby. So data for analytics tells a lot about the business. It tells the health of the business in short. Categorical data placed in category of specific character. I just told you about a hotel or a hospitality industry and a steel production plant. Categories bear no quantitative relationship to one another. Absolutely yes. Example: customers location, be it in America, Africa, Asia, Europe. Employees classification, that's about manager, supervisor, associate, and so on and so forth. Ordinal data, they are nothing but ranked against one another with some kind of relationship. Did I say about the cottages, single room, double room, AC, non-AC, duplex? There are metrics and then they are ranked. Why? Because a cottage might be priced much more premium. The suite room would be priced somewhat premium. No fixed units of measurement. Example: college football ranking. Survey responses: poor, average, good, very good, excellent, as the case might be. Interval data, ordinary data, but constant differences between observation. Absolutely, it differentiated with the passage of time. No true 0 point. Ratios are meaningful. Example: temperature reading or SAT scores, scholastic aptitude test scores. They have ratios have absolutely no meaning because they are only constant differences. No true zero. Now, ratio data is continuous values and have natural 0 point, which can be related to a certain pivotal points. Ratios are meaningful. Example: monthly sales or delivery sales. Decision model, an abstraction or representation of a real system, idea or object. Capture the most important features. Can be written or verbal description. A visual display, a mathematical formula, or a spreadsheet representation, as the case might be. Now, this is what we are talking about. The decision model is all about. We are talking the representation so that people get understand it very easily, and that is the reason why we build model. We need to understand what are the cause and effect relationship, which is the most important causes, and how does it impact the performances altogether. That's what the decision model is all about it. Let me give you an example. Three forms of model. Let's say first generation of iPad that goes around it. Now, it might be a 3D television. It can be any electronic goods that comes around it. Now, if we have to plan, let's say sales on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. Look what we are talking about. We are talking about time on the x-axis and sales on the y-axis. Now, how the sales would be running? This would be running like this, probably. Now, this is somewhere down the corner. It has to be maintained together. That is what we are looking for it. Now, this is this elliptical would be an E that comes around here. Now, what are we looking at it? Sales are growing at a constant pace over a period of time. A mathematical model of an S curve can be identified. For example, S is the sales, T is the time, and E is the elliptical natural log that goes around it. Absolutely natural log. Time might be business might be cyclical. Business might undergo some kind of operational change and so on and so forth. Now these are the three forms of model that comes around here. Decision model. A decision model is a model used to understand, analyze, or facilitate decision making. Now, this will help you to figure out what to do and what not to do. Types of model: inputs, data, which is uncontrollable variables, decision variables, controllable variables, types of model output, performance measures, behavioral measures, and so on and so forth. Now, these are things that needs to be understood time and again about your decision model thereby. So, just giving a model, you have an input and you have an output. What are they? They are data. There's uncontrollable variables. There are decision variables. Now, what do you go around it? You make a decision. You make some churning around here and come arrive to a certain decision. Based on a decision, you take an action. Based on the action, does it affect or achieve your output, the desired output? This is what is very important, as the case might be. Problem solving and decision making. Business analytics represents the portion of overall problem solving by decision making process. 6 steps, what are they? I would love to elaborate these 6 steps before I wind up this presentations. So watch me. Recognize the problem first and foremost. Defining the problem. Second. Third is the structuring the problem. Fourth is the analyzing the problem. Fifth, interpreting results. Remember the model that I show you about the inputs where there is data which is measurable and decision variables, controllable variables, uncontrollable variables. Then comes to your decision model. You come take out a decision. Then comes the output. This output, have you achieved it as desired? And last but not the least would be the implementing solution. Let us begin with the first one, problem solving. First and foremost, half the battle is won the moment you understand that you have a problem at hand. Problem exists when there's a gap, when there's a gap between what we think and what is happening. If that gap needs to be filled in, you need to acknowledge that the problems are existing. For example, costs are too high with competitors as compared to the competitors. Next is all about defining the problem. Now, this is not a trivial task. Many of the times, problem is somewhere down the corner, people acknowledge, but they are not able to identify the problem. They are not able to find the crux of the problem. As a result, the problem persists and in fact become much more complex. So how does it, the complexity increases when the following factor, when there's a large number of courses of action. Absolutely a complex procedure has been followed. Several competing objectives which are competing with one another, which are competing for the resources. External groups are affected. Problem owner and the problem solver are not the same person. That is what the difference is. Everybody has their own standing and everybody might be right as per their own point of view. Time constraint exist as the case comes around here. Next is all the structuring the problem. This is where you need to prioritize your problem, set your goals, set your objectives, set the possible decision which might come up and the outcome thereof. Identify every possible scenarios, any restriction, any constraint. This is where the structuring of problem is all about. It is all ranking of your priorities. Next is your problem and the analysis thereby. Now identify appropriate business analytic techniques out there. Come with a different situation. What if situation? What are the scenario that comes around in case you take a particular path? Typically, it involves experimentation. Typically, it involves statistical analysis or a solution process thereby. That is what we are talking as far as analysis is concerned. Next would be the interpreting the problem. Managers has to interpret the test scenario altogether. From the analysis phase, incorporate subjective judgment as needed. Understand the limitation and model assumption. Make decisions, utilize the above information as on when on basis. How do we go across with it? The last would be implementing the solution. You have arrived to a decision, now you have to implement it. Ensure that whatever you have seen in the in your model, that similar result is coming up. If not, what has gone wrong? You need to understand the thing. Once implementation on the real world, make the solution work for the organization by providing adequate training, by providing adequate resources as on when on basis. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.